So I decided to take a quick trip to Yellowstone. On Highway 191, it goes through the northern part of the Tetons and ends up in the south side of the Yellowstone Park. The drive up there was great. What a nice way to start the day. Now I don't plan on staying in Yellowstone very long, just a short day trip. I'm gonna try and see and do as much as I can before it gets too dark. I plan on heading back to the Tetons after I'm done. First stop, you guessed it, the most famous geyser in the world, Old Faithful. Now it was kinda cold out, so these geysers were putting off some serious steam. And when this thing decided to go off, all you could see was steam. It very much obstructed the view of the water. It was pretty disappointing. And there was a ton of people waiting to watch it. The spot where Old Faithful sits is called the Upper Geyser Basin. It's home to a lot more geysers, hot tubs, and hot springs. And the Firehole River runs right through the middle of it all. After Old Faithful did its thing, I decided to take a short walk around the upper basin and take some pictures. In my honest opinion, this short walk was much more impressive than Old Faithful going off. After that short walk of the upper basin, I jump in the old van and head north to the Grand Prismatic Spring. This place was pretty neat. Again, it was kind of cold, so it's super steamy. But that's alright, it was still super neat. This is the lower falls of the Yellowstone River, which is located in the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. And this one's called Gibbons Falls. After that, I make my way around Yellowstone Lake, seeing plenty of deer and elk on the way. I'm headed for West Thumb Geyser Basin. This was by far my favorite part of Yellowstone. If you're in the area, don't miss it. It's pretty neat. While I was here, there were 4 cow elk just moseying on along through the exhibit, eating and grazing. None of the elk cared about the tourists. They didn't have a care in the world. And while I was walking taking pictures, I could hear a bull elk bugling. He was close, I could tell. And I had a gut feeling deep down inside, this bull might come down to these cows, and I might catch a glimpse of him. So I turned off my camera and took a quick walk to the last place I seen those cow elk. And that is also where the bugle's coming from. And sure enough, soon as I get down there, this bull comes strolling through the forest like he owned the joint. Me and 3 other people were there to witness this. There was no one else in this exhibit. It was getting too late. We were all in awe watching this bull gather up these cows.
That's so awesome.
It got dark shortly after that, so I jumped in the old van and headed back down south to the Grand Tetons. That's where I set up camp to sleep for the night. The next morning I wake up and have intentions of spending one more day at the Grand Tetons National Park. But before I get to the park, we have a little traffic jam. A big herd of bison decided to cross the road to head further down to the park. This is pretty neat. Once a couple bison crossed that road, they all got in a big hurry to follow suit. Today is my last day at the Grand Teton National Park, and it was a great day. I got to see a couple moose, some cow elk, a few deer, and a black bear. And the weather held out for most of the day. Towards the end it sprinkled for a bit, then cleared right back up. This park is truly amazing. I hope to come back someday and do a lot more hiking and exploring. And I got to witness what just might quite possibly be the best sunset I think I've ever seen. Tell me all what you think. Well, it's finally time to say goodbye to Wyoming. I've been here quite a while. The Tetons and Yellowstone are quite the places to see. Highly recommended. I had a great time here, but the weather's starting to get cold, so I better head south and find some more heat. I take Highway 89 right down to southern Idaho, past Bear Lake, and I make my way into the state of Utah. A long time ago, I passed through Salt Lake City. That's the only part of Utah I've ever seen, and it was only for a few hours. I can't wait to get out here and explore. This place is so different from anything I've ever seen. I ended up sleeping at a rest stop just south of Salt Lake City. I woke up in the morning and headed straight to Bryce Canyon. This place was pretty insane. Quite the introduction to Utah, if I do say so myself. The natural rock structures coming out of the ground seem so alien and out of place. It's the only place like this in the area, and the rest is just desert. I took this trail that goes around the rim of the canyon from one side to the other, and there's a couple scenic lookouts on the way. This place was pretty neat, but I probably wouldn't spend no more than 2 days here. It's a pretty small park, but definitely worth seeing. If you're still here, thanks a lot. I do appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one to further explore Utah.